This is KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and this is Sean McCall from the Old Creamery Theater. Sean, welcome. Nice to see you.
Great to be back.
And as is usually the case, when you stop by, you guys have a little show.
We do. We have lots of little shows, so we stop by frequently.
Yeah, there are many shows.
Yes, that's correct.
But this is one that I've been looking forward to for a while because I've never seen it, but I've always heard about it, and it's Barnum.
It is. It's the biggest musical the Creamery's done since I've been around, and that's 23 years now. I mean, it's a show that I've always enjoyed. I saw it in New York when I was a kid. My parents took me.
Wasn't the Tony Orlando version?
No,
was it?
This was the Jim Dale who records all the Harry Potter books.
Right. Yeah.
He and Glenn Close was Cherry Barnum. So that was sort of her big pre-Hollywood, like, last burst on the stage before she went off and did things like Fatal Attraction and stuff. But yeah, so my parents took me when I was a kid, and I loved the show, and I've always sort of kept track of it. And when looking for an ensemble musical that I thought we could sort of wrap our skill sets around, it seemed like this was a good choice. And it's really a fun Broadway musical.
And as I said, this is one I've always heard about. I'm sure I've seen pieces of it and things like that somewhere along the line, but it obviously is the story of P.T. Barnum.
It is.
The somewhat fictionalized and musicalized story of P.T. Barnum.
Absolutely. It sort of covers it's a love story between he and his wife. She is the grounded one. She is the one that's very New England, very practical. And he, of course, has his head in the clouds, and it's kind of the balance and the support that they give each other. And I think part of the reason it doesn't get done a lot is because it really is a pretty big undertaking when it comes to the circus aspect of it. I mean, the entire production has that circus feel to it, and I'm lucky enough that I was able to piece together a company that's not only great singers and dancers and storytellers, but are stilt walkers, do aerial silks.
Oh my!
I can juggle, can do all of those fun circusy type things that really.
Because you got to do that.
You do, especially when the closing number is "Join the Circus." So, when that's your finale, you got to deliver. So, yeah.
And so Join the Circus. Actually, now that you mention that, I sang that in the Follies a couple of times.
See, yeah, so, you know some of the music.
So the music is. I was going to say, what songs would we know? Well, there's one.
That's probably the big one. "Come Follow the Band" is the opening of the second act. It's got some really great music. I mean, "Sucker Born Every Minute" obviously is a very catchy little ditty, but yeah.
Talking with Sean McCall from the Old Creamery Theater about the upcoming production of Barnum. So this is a big musical for you guys, because usually you do, kind of more smaller, more intimate stuff.
We do.
How many people are you fitting on your lovely but not terribly large stage?
Well, exactly. Part of the reason that I chose this is because when I went through and looked at how the incidental stuff breaks down, I mean, obviously Barnum and Cherry are pretty key figures in the whole thing, but Jenny Lind shows up, and the ringmaster is fairly major, but otherwise it's very small ensemble people that are popping into scenes to be Jenny Lind's manager or the guy who helped him build the American Museum, or the smaller roles. But when you really track people through, I looked at it and went, I think this can be done with a cast of 10, and that includes Barnum and Cherry. And so far, I've been right. And in fact, when you've got all the stuff on our stage that we now have, we've got a swing, we've got aerial silks, that 10 people is about the right size for this stage.
It fills the stage.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, of course, if they're swinging in area, you got some of them that are above the stage.
That's right.
So,
we got some that
so
are
they take up less floor space that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, did you? Of course, as you said, this is one of your favorite shows. And you've been keeping track of it and been wanting to do it for a while. But when you actually got the chance to mount it, what surprised you? What did you find out about the character or the show that you did not know?
Well, that's an excellent question. No wonder you're good at this. It's been a while. I actually did the show in high school, too.
Okay, so you have done it.
So I had done it, but it's one of those that you go back to now with a mature perspective, having lived a chunk of life, going back to this and understanding a lot more, this struggle to do what you dream is possible and to excite people and tell stories. And there's parallels certainly in his life and in his philosophies that I sort of found in my own. And, you know, and also in the relationship between Barnum and Cherry. You know, I think when I was younger, I didn't quite grasp, you know, how much of a solid relationship. And really, you know, who knows, this is not a documentary. I don't know how accurately it depicts that relationship, but it really is, she's a very strong woman and very, you know, she grounds him immensely. They both love each other immensely. Doesn't mean there's not some rocky times in there, but it really, the power of the love story came to me this time, whereas before it was like, ooh, circus and that kind of stuff.
Well, and I don't want to wander too far off in the tall grass, but that strikes me as very interesting because I think about this. While you know Barnum is the lead character, you talk about Cherry as being such a strong woman, and this musical came in a time when there are lots of musicals that featured strong women in the leads. You know, Hello Dolly, Mame, and you know it's a little later than that.
I think came out like around that same time period
and
too.
what the heck happened? Now,
I know. Well,
now in the movies and TV, all you know, actresses in particular with a lot of justification complain that at 37 you're regarded as too old to be the romantic interest of a 55-year-old man.